search for the other cats from D2D, like Cheat and like some of the homies that were out in Carson, and then that's how that came about. And so they basically just took their crew TSU and just merged, just got in D2D.
Why do they allow you in D2D? What made you stand out from other riders that made them want to recruit you into the crew?
You know, I really don't know, but like they had asked me before one time, and I kind of turned it down. And then
why do you turn it down?
Because I started hanging out with these other. I was in another crew. I got into this other crew that was like. So I lived in Santa Ana, so Westminster. If you're going towards the beach, you're going towards the west. It was like a couple cities over, and it was from going to going to like hip hop clubs and shit. There was this DJ Coco. He was from there, from this crew called TKPA, and there was like taking care of punk artists, True Kings pimping around. They were like a Westminster crew, but they were kind of like big when I got in, but they weren't like not doing too much for as big as they were. And then they just recruited a kid in Santa Ana. They recruited my homie I grew up with, but they kind of like were like kind of fading away from graffiti, I guess. And then like I was getting in trouble. I was on probation, and my parents being a little strict were like, a 10 o'clock curfew, better be in the fucking house type of shit. So it was easier for me to like do graffiti than like go out to these clubs and shit, and be out all night. So it was like easier to go home, be at home, and sneak out the window and go tagging and shit, And then also I went in not elementary school, but in my junior high, one of the brothers from D2D, the Samoans, was in my class, and that's how I got affiliated with the D2Ds, because they lived kind of down the way from me. When I was telling you about the two neighborhoods, they lived in Santa Anita's neighborhood, while I lived in the middle-sized neighborhood, but they would have to like cross through me just to get to school. And they had like this green van, like an old school, like shitty van, but they called it the turtle machine from Ninja Turtles. And it was these big ass Samoan dudes, and he would just like pull up to spots, like fucking, if you could like reach out and tag on a pillar, like on the freeway in this van, he would just do it like that. He wouldn't even fucking, he would just stop and fucking do it. And they're the first cats I rack paint with, like the big fools. He would like, we would go to Chief Autos. He's like, hey, fucking here. He just like start shoving paint down my pants and shit. Like all my pant legs would be like fucking stuffed with paint where I could barely walk. But he was like, yeah, I got you, bro. Don't trip. He's like, he was a big dude. Like they were kind of like, they would like jack people and do crazy shit, So he was just like I seen this fool like. One time I was riding him on his a beach cruiser, and where the bottom of the frame is, and between the frame he would have a 2x4. That's why I'm riding this fool home, and he fucking grabs a 2x4, and we're coming up on somebody, and he's whacked him and shit, dude. What the fuck? And it was that dude was like down for his shit too. That dude pulled out a shank, fucking was about to shank him. But he just beat him down. And when that happened too, I was kind of like, damn, I could need to like fucking reevaluate my situation, like. But at the same time, like Samoan, they had a bunch of brothers. They were like hella cool, and took me in. They took me under their wing and shit. So
how long do you stay in D2D for?
I mean, I never really got out of D2D. D2D's like. Those are like my brothers, That's where like the people I came from. I just like evolved, I guess. Like as far as graffiti goes, like there was a point in the like mid '90s where a lot of the tag banging came in, and we weren't tag bangers, but we had to deal with that. We had to deal with all the crews that were trying to punk us and shit. Like SSK was one of them. Fucking, we were cool with them at first. They were always cool, like. And then it just seemed when the tag banging came in, like people started testing people and seeing.
What kind of things were happening in the tag banging era? Can you describe what the atmosphere was like in those?
All kinds of shit, like guns and shit, and fucking chases, all kinds of shit, dude. I remember like there's these alleys in Anaheim, because I would hang out in Anaheim a lot, even though I lived in Santa Ana. Like, and back then, like Anaheim. And like north, like Anaheim, Fullerton, Buena Park, kind of had like more flavor, like when it came to graffiti, like with styles. Then Santa Ana had a lot of taggers too, but it was just they kind of were like not flexing style-wise. You know, I'm not like trying to diss or anything, but it was more just there was just more shit popping off over there, you know, in Anaheim, and that's where SSK was. There was just a clique. I know it's an LA crew, but there was a clique from two brothers from LA moved to Anaheim and started.
Why did things turn bad against SSK and D2D?
There's I think several different reasons. You know, one of them was like a couple of them got in D2D for a second, but then they wanted to fucking call shots right away. Like they wanted rank, and it was like, nah. The homies were like, you can't have rank, you know. And one of them, they were close too, because there was a dude who wrote Cinch from SSK who was also Samoan. So I think there was like a relationship right there with the older homies. And like at that time, I had no. I was just sitting on the sidelines. I was just a member, you know. And I remember being stoked that those guys got in. The SSK dudes that got in, because at the time they were like dope. Like if I wasn't from D2D, I probably would have wanted to been from fucking SSK. And at that time it was all like, you know, when you're a kid and shit, you're like 16, 15, whatever. There's no, we didn't have cars, so it was like just like in LA, it was like all the buses. It was like scribing buses, and you could not get on a bus that those dudes didn't have, you know. And we had it different. Like the buses weren't rocked like they were here in LA. Like for a minute they were, but like before they were putting plexiglass on the windows and it was just all glass with just the big old scribes on them. But they would just be in the back. It would just kind of be in the back of the bus, and that was about it. And they were kind of on the buff, so you'd have to like catch like small scribes in the fucking plastic by the window, or like, you know, the metal in the window, the metal frame.
ARBE, you're known as a skillful artist. You're also a vandal. How did you feel during the tag banging era, knowing you're so creative? How did you manage to stay away from tag banging and go towards the art side of it?
That shit didn't really happen for me until I got into KOG.